Hello, everybody. Look, I've got my juice. I love it. My name is Phil Marriott. Thank you very much for coming back for London Vegans Live. We are broadcasting live, and if you are watching this later, thank you very much for doing that. I've got a very, very special guest today. I'm thrilled that she is joining us because I know how busy she is, constantly doing things. We were talking about this just off air just a minute ago. She's a radio presenter. She is a vegan festival host. She is responsible for VeggieVisionTV. I mean, goodness me, I don't know where you get the time. Karin, thank you so much for joining us.
Yay! I'm so excited. Welcome to my log cabin at the bottom of my garden where all my veganising takes place. And I put my banner up. You can only see half of it.
I love it. Hang on, let's swap this over. We can see you in full there. Veggie Vision. You're going to tell us all about that hopefully in a second. But my God, I don't know where to start.
I mean, just to say, it's like we're in a sauna though. That's the thing, because it is like a proper log cabin. So
sounds like, good to me. Nice and cozy. You're going to be throwing the water on there. So was that a bottle of gin that you were just showing me there?
No, I am just such a water snob. So I know we said earlier, I was thinking, shall I have my glass of, organic vegan red wine, which I have on special occasions. But this is my super filtered water, and I love it. I'm a really big water fan.
You are so influential, because we were talking about this earlier about drinks, and there was a possibility that we were going to buy a bottle of wine. I didn't actually do that in the end, but I've gone for juice.
Oh, lovely.
The healthy option.
Freshly squeezed by your own good hand.
No, it's a bought one. I know, so lazy. I've done the Wicked Kitchen meal tonight as well. Just too much to do. We're just both plate spinning, aren't we, all the time?
We really are. But you know what? I mean, Wicked Kitchen, all these guys that are out now, it's wonderful, isn't it? It makes our life that little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we don't have that much time on our hands. I can hear chanting, men shouting outside the window. You've probably got your end as well. You're in Essex, right? Whereabouts in Essex?
Yeah, I'm in Billericay in Essex. So it's a lovely little town that nothing really happens. And it's just nice. I just walk around and, try my bit to, sprinkle a bit of veganism over in Billericay. But yeah, at the moment, everyone's going,
hollering.
It's coming home.
And now the dog's barking. My rescue dog is barking now. Billericay, isn't that where Alison Moyet was? But that's where she was born, wasn't it?
Yeah, Alison Moyet down the road. And funny enough, I have a nice association with Alison Moyet because when I organised my school reunion, I think it come up. So I think it was about 18 years ago. Oh, don't put me in the big screen. I want to share it with you. Oh, my God. Oh. But she did the voiceover to my school reunion that was one of the first reality TV programmes ever shown on TV. So it was on Channel 5. So, whenever anyone says Alison Moyet, she comes from down the road. She doesn't live here now. But yeah, the school reunion that I organised, it brings back a lot of memories, really lovely memories. And yes, it was Alison Moye that did the voiceover. And I think our biggest export, which is just down the road, of course, is Depeche Mode, who I know you and I, I just adore Depeche Mode. And to be honest, I think, Phil, Depeche Mode got me through the lockdown, because I was just forever saying, Alexa, play the greatest hits of Depeche Mode, or also play the greatest hits of The Jam. And their music, it just takes you on a different level. But I don't know if you remember, about a year and a half ago, their film came out.
Yes, I did. I saw that more recently, though. I didn't see it at the time, but it's amazing. And it's all to do with the fans, isn't it? It's the fan stories. Brilliant.
Well, we saw it in the Basildon Cinema. So obviously, huge packed out, waiting list only. Luckily, we got tickets. But my husband knows all of their families. So we bumped into Dave Garhan's sister, Martin Gore's sister. I can't remember, there was another sister. And I was so excited. I'm there with the sisters of Depeche Mode in Basildon. And that's sort of our big claim to fame. I'm trying to think. There's Dave Gandy from Billericay, the model. And there's Lee Evans, the comedian, who I sort of knew before he was famous. Give my hair a brush. Should I borrow that?
Yeah, I don't really have much to brush, to be honest. Thank you for the offer, though, Karin. I knew you were going to have so many stories, because we share that interest in 80s music. Obviously, we share the passion for veganism as well. For those people who don't know you, and I can't imagine there is anybody watching that doesn't know what you've done, because I mean this like in genuine honesty, because I can't think of anyone more positive that is a spokesperson for animal welfare, for veganism, because whenever I see you at these festivals, to see you out and about posting stuff on social media, I take my hat off to you, because you do it in such a fun way that I think you are such an inspiration. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I think you're incredible what you do, and you do so much as well. But tell us about how it all started, how you became vegan. When was it?
Well, I mean, and thank you. That really is lovely. And I don't want to have a little tear, because I've got my flipping makeup on. I told you I made an effort for tonight.
I got mine on as well. Actually, I've just put moisturiser on. I'm really shiny. I've just realised that.
We need the makeup person to do a little bit of, But, I mean, look, originally, back in the day, 30 years ago, I think roughly, I picked up a book at a Mind, Body, Soul exhibition, and it described meat as flesh. And that was just such a big turning point for me. And it turned out to be a book written by Supreme Master Ching Hai. Now, I don't know if you know her work. She's very big in America. She's very big in Asia countries. And there is a following over here, and they are, my very good friends. And I read this book and I just thought, that's it. I never even thought, how do animals die? How are they killed? I never, my mum made my dinner, even though I was, 20, early 20s. And I just thought, that's it. I think too much of myself. I was doing it for selfish reasons. I just thought, I am too good to be eating the rotting flesh of a dead animal. I'm selfish, And my mum made me a chicken dinner that night. And I thought, well, look, I don't like food waste. We're talking 30 years ago, and it was just these really early steps. And I took a mouthful and, I just thought, I cannot do this. And I just said, Mum, I'm really sorry. I know you've made this lovely dinner, but I can't do it. I've got to be a vegetarian. And she said, oh, God, not another one, because my dad was veggie, my sister was veggie, but we all kind of kept it to ourselves. And then, I learned about ingredients. At that time, polos had gelatin in. And my cousin said to me, why are you eating polos? And I just didn't click about ingredients. And then To be honest, I decided to take some time off, and I helped a lady called Joanne Brown who changed my life, and she run the Vegan Prisoner Support Group, and I helped her for the day. Just as simple as that. I don't even know how it all came about. I did some admin and filing and bits and bobs. And I just thought to myself, how dare I not be a vegan? There are people going to prison for their beliefs. And I just came away and thought, that's it. And then I thought, oh my God, can I do this? I'm so nervous. I love cheese and I love chocolate. And I even had bad dreams. For days I would go to bed, wake up with bad nightmares. And then, come on, when you make that decision, it's just like you have woken up. It's the best decision, the most important decision you will ever make in your life. And it's never been a problem. It was not a problem 30 years ago. It's not a problem now. I've never had a problem anywhere I've ever been, even abroad. You do find something you can eat. And, at the end of the day, Phil, I'm really happy there's more choice. Now there's lots of options. But for me, I've always tried to strive to make the life of future vegans easy or easier. But then I sort of look back and I thought, for me, it's more about, I just want to see people not eating animals. I don't care how many choices there are for vegans. I don't care if there was just one choice. That is the choice. That's the option. And for me, it's just seeing less animals being murdered.
Yeah, I'm the same. And it's funny because you mentioned, obviously, this was 30 years ago when for you it was just an instant thing and you didn't have a problem with that. But now, of course, like you say, it's so much easier. Really, there is no excuse. And this is what frustrates me. I don't want to be the frustrated kind of person, but it does. And I'm sure you kind of scratching your head as if to say, why are so many people still eating meat? But I suppose everyone's got different reasons for that. Not that that's an excuse, but I think people just are slowly waking up to that, and I think it's a good thing. You see how it's just snowballed over the last few years. It's quite exciting, isn't it, to see that change?
It is. It's wonderful. And yeah, it's lovely. I can go to a restaurant and have something now and not explain or take this off or that off or take my own cheese. And, but it's, that was never a chore. For me, that was always a conversation starter. Like, I'll go and get my hair cut and I'll take my shampoos in. And it was a conversation starter. And it's funny because I think it might have been for Vegan Life magazine, because I have a regular column in there. And I said to my son, Callum, who's 15 and a lifelong vegan, and I said, look, darling, what advice would you give to that person that's thinking, it's hard, I want to go vegan, what could they do? And he said, just do it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, that is just genius. Going to hire up my chair a bit. That's just genius. That's a 15. He wasn't 15 at the time. He was about 13. He just said, just do it.
It really is genius, because I think it's such good advice, because I think that is the problem, is that people don't do it because they're scared. They don't think they're going to get the right vitamins. And of course, it is a very healthy diet. You don't have to live on junk food. That's the argument that I've always had, the answer that I've always had to people that say, oh, you're not going to get your calcium or your protein. But I always say, but meat eaters and people that eat dairy don't get enough protein or calcium either. It's all about balance, and you have to just think about what you're eating and just get the right vitamins, because you can do it. It's so easy to do that. But you're right. I think it's fear, isn't it, ultimately, that puts a lot of people off. It's uncertainty.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, to be honest, Phil, look, because it's just you and I chatting, and maybe some lovely vegans are going to join us. I think people are busy.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I think people are a bit scared of change, and I think people are lazy. I do. I'm sorry. I don't mean any disrespect, but it's like, oh, we're busy doing this. We're busy doing this. These are my set dinners that I have, and it's too much of an effort to kind of think, well, okay, I'm gonna swap this for this. When I've coached celebrities to be vegan, journalists to be vegan, we talk about the easy swaps, and they cannot believe how easy it is. And, I wish I could just coach the country, to be honest. You don't have to jump in and completely revamp everything. Just do those easy swaps. Go to the plant-based milk. You'll find one you like. Switch it up. I mean, lots of people have Flora. I know one of their products isn't vegan now, but, everyone was eating Flora and having vegan butter. Swap out. If you like a pie, have one with vegetables in it. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's not rocket science.
I've just discovered a new Flora substitute, another brand which is buttery, and I think it's Pure. Not that they're sponsoring this live broadcast or anything, but yeah, I was quite pleased about that.
I've grown up with Pure. I mean, they must have been around 25 years or more, but they're obviously a smaller company, and so I've gone back to supporting them, because I did try Flora for a bit, and then I thought, well, you've now decided to not be fully vegan, so I want to take my dosh elsewhere. That's the power we have. Vote with your money.
Exactly. I didn't understand that. That was crazy, because so many people were loving it and raving about it, and then they decided to make it non-vegan, and it's like, I just find that ludicrous. I just couldn't fathom out why they did that.
But what's more ludicrous is you and I talking about flipping butter like two old... I don't know what. But it's funny, I'm friends with Jasmine Harman, and I've known her a long time. I love her to pieces. A Place in the Sun. She comes to VegFest.
Yeah.
She come on my radio show, and we just chatted, and it was lovely. And then we end up talking about vegan butter, and she said, "Oh, I found this really wonderful new vegan butter." And I said, "I bet I know what one it is." And it's that one. Have you seen it? It's like black, and it's called, I think it's Naturally.
Oh, Naturally, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
But I couldn't always find it, so I stopped buying it. But
I think it's just in Sainsbury's.
Yeah. Oh yes, is it Waitrose as well? Maybe as well.
That's my treat. And I don't know. I am a bit of a Waitrose girl. I do like to sort of shop independent as much as I can, but that's my little. I am a Waitrose girl.
It's so good though, isn't it? I mean, it really is what I remember butter to taste like. Not that I was ever kind of mad on butter or anything, but it's like you said, there's a substitute for everything. And if you're making food at home, you can discover how amazing that fresh food is too. So as an example, seitan. I mean, I always forget how to make. It's so easy to make, and it's amazing.
You make it yourself. How do you make it?
It's so easy. I mean, I think there's a recipe in one of the Bosch books where you just add, I think it's wheat gluten and flour and maybe tinned lentils, and you add a little bit of soy sauce, and I think you just simmer it in water for 40 minutes or half an hour or something, and then you fry it or you bake it in the oven afterwards. So yeah, it expands. It's like about. If you, it's like a kind of loaf of bread. If when you're making a loaf of bread from scratch, and you've got that dough, and then you cut it into steak shapes, and then you do what you want with it. Have you never done it? Have you never cooked it?
No, I'm thinking I might come round yours for dinner.
You're always welcome.
Try it.
So we got to talk about your radio show, because Phoenix FM. Is it Fridays you do, Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night. I mean, I did more than 100 odd shows, and then look at that picture.
There we go, in the action, look, caught in the moment.
I've always been a radio nerd.
Yeah.
I used to interview my sister when I was 5 and she was 3, and I'd be saying, da 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 da, and I wouldn't let her get a word in edgeways. And I loved Annie Nightingale, Janice Long, Caesar the Boogeyman regionally, James Wow, who is super controversial, but I've been on his show live quite a few, 2 or 3 times. And many years ago, I helped set up the station, Phoenix FM, and then I just disappeared, did my own thing, did lots of vegan stuff, presenting, my acting. And then they were celebrating 10 years full time, and I thought I'll go along and support them and just say hello. And then Paul, who's been running the show, running the whole thing, the station for, 30 years now, 25 years, he just said, would I like my own show? And, there's always a waiting list. There's a brilliant lineup of presenters. And I just thought, yeah, I'd love to do that. And, I hadn't thought about it for years. And yeah, but I took a break because of lockdown, but I've recently gone back. And, again, you get to chat to people that you would never get to talk to. I've got the main guy from A Flock of Seagulls coming on
with the hair
on Friday. Yeah.
Well, actually, it was. I don't know if it looks like that now. It probably doesn't, does it? It was
Probably
like a wave.
not.
It was like a bird. Yeah. Amazing.
They're just iconic. And then I've got Cheryl Baker from Bucks Fizz.
Oh, I interviewed her.
On.
She's amazing. She's so funny. And it was actually the Fizz that I interviewed. It was pretty much Bucks Fizz, but without Bobby, I think.
Yeah.
Just three of them, isn't it now? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, but it's lovely. I get great feedback for my music, which I'm really thankful for, because I do put a lot of thought into that. It is mainly 80s, it is mainly 90s, old school club classics, feel good, and it evokes memories. And people drop me a line sometimes afterwards or through the station, and they'll tell me about, I've played a track, they haven't heard it for ages, and this is what it meant to them. And then I'd like to pick a bit of a theme. I always talk something about being vegan.
I was going to ask you. Yeah, because I was going to ask you that, because of course that's a great platform to do it, isn't it? I mean, it's a lot of people will say, well, it is a passion of yours and it's a personal passion, and you should be able to talk about it. A lot of people wouldn't have that luxury, I guess. At some stations, you'd have to talk music alone, but it's great that you can do that.
Yeah, I've got Veggie Vision. There's my banner there. That's promoting everything wonderful about veganism. But I do respect that the station is going out all over Essex into London. I thought if I had something called The Vegan Show, it might people might listen if they were not vegan. But for me, I want to talk to everybody. So I'm keeping it gentle. Paul is great. He's really happy with whatever the presenters really want to talk about, and my guests are really wonderful. And I do, I had Heather Small come on my show. We end up talking about vegan chocolate, because she's a vegan. And
I never knew that.
Heather Small, she's been a vegan for many, many years. And we just sat there having a right laugh, and then she was doing warm-up exercises, and I just sat there like the biggest flipping girl fan, thinking, just like going, oh my God. I try not to be like too gushy, but I genuinely, I'm so thankful to the guests. I'm so thankful that I have this opportunity. It's a lot of hard work, and I think to really have the show of my dreams, I really would have to put in a lot of time and effort, Phil. But, at the moment, I think it's a compromise, because my vegan PR business is just bonkers busy. And, I've got a family, I've got Veggie Vision, and there is a lot to fit in, but it's all what I love.
I don't know how you do it. Like I mentioned at the start of this live broadcast, it's incredible what you do. Let's just give these people a mention quickly, because I put their comments up on the screen. Kaz, yes, vegan for the animals. See, people always say to me, why are you vegan? For some people, I read somewhere today about this survey. A lot of people are going vegan for the planet, which is obviously great. I don't know whether that includes animals, but there's no mention of animals in that survey. It was just health and the planet.
Yeah, I think
which is
a
good.
lot of people, it's good. But I think at the end of the day, pretty much every vegan in the UK, a massive percent are going to say it's because of animal rights. And that's what it is for me. And I think when you see surveys like this, I don't know who commissioned it, but a lot of the time, Phil, and you would know this, the media are still scared of the words animal rights. And
yeah.
I know you've got more comments and everything, but when I set up my vegan PR business, I was working with vegans, and we had to say at that time, this is a vegetarian product. because you said
Crazy.
vegan to the press, it's hit delete, hit delete. They were telling me this. National newspaper editors, no way, we cannot touch vegan. It's too niche. It's not for our readers. Now it's like super sexy,
Yeah.
and if it's not vegan, I mean, I'm inundated. I get tons of press releases sent to me. I never used to get any. It's a new vegan this, a new vegan survey, new vegan news, new vegan UB40 are bringing out a vegan red wine. I mean, you name it. What's his name? I can't remember what band he's from now. They're bringing out a vegan protein shake, and it's like, everything is flipping vegan. That's what I said. I'm a bit bored of being vegan. I've got to think of something else now. I'm probably just going to go raw because
You just reminded me. You just reminded me about this because I saw this. I think it was on your Facebook. You posted a picture of your fruit and said, right, I want to be an outsider again. So I want to go raw vegan. It did make me laugh.
I didn't know you were going to do that to me. Oh my God. It's got to be the most unimaginable, boring photo, hasn't it? I just thought, oh, I can't look at myself on the big screen.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's it. I've got to do something else to sort of, what is it, lose friends and alienate people.
Yeah. Let's all be militant or more militant. See, that's the thing, isn't it? You're talking about the media. It's always that, that scary thing is the scary thought of these vegans causing trouble. The reason why we're so angry sometimes is because people aren't listening or don't seem to be listening, but because we're caring for the animals. But anyway, we have to also talk about the festivals because you do so much incredible work with festivals. Is VegFest, and the last festival I saw you at, which you kindly invited us to appear on the panel, was Plant Powered Expo.
Yes. Yeah.
And look, there you are with Peter Egan.
Do love Peter. Peter, I love you.
Bless him.
Yeah.
I admire that man so much. And I recently saw him in, what was that drama that he was on in TV? That third series. It's just finished. Oh, amazing.
It was so good. Because he come on my radio shows just over the phone. And he said to me, this is live on my flipping show. He said, Karin, have you watched my programme, Unforgotten? And I thought, I can't tell fibs. I'm too honest. I went, no, Peter, I don't watch a great deal of TV. And then I literally went home and was like, get this programme, Unforgotten. And it's really good. And yeah, he's just brilliant. I've been to events with Phil, with you, Phil. I've been to
with
events
me,
with you.
Yeah, seen you a few times events.
No, I've been to events with Peter, and I've stood there chatting, and I've looked round, and there is a queue of people, and I thought, oh, do they want to talk to me? No, of course they don't want to flipping talk to me. They're waiting to talk to Peter and just lining up. And this guy, he just said to me, I can't believe I'm getting to speak to my idol, Peter Egan. Ever Decreasing Circles is the best programme that's ever been made. And I felt quite emotional, and I just wandered off because I thought, well, I can't hog Peter all night, and he's got all these people waiting to see him. But it is lovely. I mean, obviously we've had VegFest, which is run by my brilliant friend who I've known forever, Tim Barford. Oh, look at that! There's Wendy, there's Tim. Do like a selfie.
I pinched a couple of these pictures off your Facebook. I hope you don't mind. I should have asked you before, probably, but so good, these pictures.
I'm gonna take a selfie of us on the screen now. Why not?
It's like you're on stage at Glastonbury, taking photos of the crowds.
I love it. Well, I invented like the stage selfie. So, when we were in Bristol or London, and, the crowd all just loved it. Everybody was waving. That was at one of the talks, because we did our own version of the X Factor.
Yeah. So that's Peter Egan. Is that Wendy Turner as well?
Yeah, Wendy Turner Webster, who I adore. And I always say about the first time I met her, again, 20 years ago, and we were supporting a Viva demonstration. And there was this sassy, cool, confident woman with her tight top on, and it was all to do with, you know, a campaign that Viva were running, and she went up to the manager of Tesco's where we were sort of, you know, doing this demo, and I just thought, oh, I wish I was like Wendy Turner Webster. And I can't remember how we got friends, but we just got friends. And I love her husband, Gary Webster, the actor. They've been on my radio show. They've been to VegFest. I haven't spoken to Wendy for a little while. I know she wasn't very well. But she's like uber vegan. She's been vegan longer than me. I think it's vegan about 30 years now. And Gary's
Brilliant.
now vegan. And I mean, look, you know, VegFest started with Tim in Bristol 20 years ago. And he used to organise raves. So he went from rave organising to vegan festival organising. And I don't know, I can't remember sort of what time I joined in, but it was only a few years into the Bristol festival. And I remember one year I had 5 presenters, 5 cameramen, running the stall, filming everything. And I mean, everyone was just buzzing. It was wonderful. And then I think Tim saw me, because then we headed over to Brighton, and I just had a VeggieVision stall, and Tim saw me do some presenting, and he said, look, you know, will you do all the presenting? And I've been very lucky to have worked with Tim for probably 15 years, I would say, on and off, not far short of when I set my business up. We've done lots together. And but, you know, we had COVID, and obviously London Olympia is still closed. You know, VegFest grew and grew and grew, and we had the best celebrities. We had VegFest, even though the events were fantastic, it generated hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of publicity for veganism over the years, hundreds of thousands of pounds. And, you know, some of the stallholders, that's how they earn their living. That's how they build their business, by coming to VegFest, getting people to subscribe to them, and you know, the awareness, and buying their products. So, you know, obviously we've had a hideous year, and I just know that, you know, Tim is a type of person that would think, right, okay, what can we do now? But it's very hard, because, you know, we would have had 15,000 people at London Olympia, vegans that, you know, that was a meeting place. They'd go back year after year. You'd see your old friends, you'll make new friends. And yeah, you know, but it's out of our control. So we did our online events, which, you know, we got great feedback for. And Tim has now set up Plant Powered Planet magazine, which I co-edit, and Forca Vegan, which is Force for Vegan in whatever it is, Latin, I think. So he's set up 2 massive online vegan magazines. And yeah, you know, it was wonderful being on the stage, running the debates, handing out the awards. You know, I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell am I doing here? I'm with a bunch of world-class flipping athletes. And there's me that, you know, I go to the gym all the time. I am a gym bunny, but, you know, I wouldn't even run for the flipping bus. I'm like, what is this Essex girl doing here on the stage with world-class athletes, picking their brains? They probably charge like £1,000 an hour to give advice. And there's me just hanging out and asking them questions. So I don't quite know how it all happened, but that's, you know, what it was. And I hope it continues. But,
you're so good at it, though. I mean, look at that. This is the weird thing. There we are, myself, Polly, so vegan, and Dave as well, Dave Sheehan. And this is the funny thing, because you're such a good host and great at interviewing people, but now you're equally great at answering questions. Because being a radio presenter since the late 90s, I gave it up last year, but I always found it a struggle being interviewed. Right, on the rare occasions, a couple of times that people have spoken to me, but you put me at ease straight away on that stage, and it's the weirdest thing, like with that, you know, role reversal thing of being interviewed. And you must get it all the time, because you must get the press, you know, interviewing you for the work that you do. But does it feel weird?
No.
When you're used to interviewing people rather than being interviewed?
Yeah, I don't know what I would prefer. I think it's less stressful to just do what we're doing now. But yeah, I love both really. And I think, but it depends on what the subject matter is. I mean, just going back to the radio, I interviewed Merrill Osmond from the Osmonds. And I mean, they're legends. They're flipping legends, Michael Jackson bought them whatever their outfits, and Chuck Norris taught them karate. I mean, this is ridiculous level. But I spent hours and hours researching before I would have that 15-20 minute chat, because I just had to really put the graft in. But then if I'm talking about veganism, then I'll just sort of talk about it. But it depends. I mean, one of the guys, I think it's that guy from The Sun, and he's on TV now. He wanted me to go, his producer invited me to go on to Talk Radio, and I've done loads of chats with Talk Radio, but he gave me such a grilling, and I wasn't feeling 100%, and I just thought, up yours. I'm going to bleep that out. It really wiped me out, and I thought, why am I doing this? But that's one in, I don't know how many. I mean, I found that interview that I'd done nearly 20 years ago, and I've put on there, I went on this radio station, that radio station, I took vegan food in. So I've been doing it a very long time. I've done 1,000 interviews, if not more. I don't know. I'm making up the number. It's a flipping lot. And usually they are really positive. I mean, James Wow, who I adore as a presenter, I really do. I mean, he said live on air when I was in the studio with him, I want to eat a steak dripping with blood, staring me in my eyes while he told me that. And I just burst out laughing, because I thought, well, what else? Why are you saying that to a vegan, to a woman in front of you?
Yeah.
That's travelled like for 3 odd hours to be on your radio show. And then I just thought, it's all I can do, because it's so ludicrous.
Roll with it.
I refuse to be angry.
Yeah,
I refuse to be that angry person.
That's obviously, it's like that shock jock technique, isn't it? To try and kind of get something out of the interview, get that fear going, get the adrenaline going, get something controversial on air. And it's a technique, I suppose, so many people use. But you're right, because I think it is a rare thing. I think, when you meet so many nice people that are professional people that do the job without having to resort to that. I'm not saying James Well isn't professional, but because I remember him back in late 80s, that kind of late night TV stuff, which I thought was great. Yeah. I mean, it was such a good watch, what he was doing. I think really, I wish I was like that. And I remember James' programme on TV, because I went on there as a studio person, and that's when I first met Richard O'Brien, who's the creator of Rocky Horror, who I love. And Richard O'Brien came on my radio show, and, I just thought, wow, how amazing that I get to talk to Richard O'Brien. But yeah, I love, and I'm friends with James Well on Facebook, and I interviewed Tommy Boyd on my radio show. I mean, I knew his massive 90s person, and the more I looked into him, very controversial, and I was really nervous about him coming on my show, because I thought, this guy's a ledge, and this is just little old me sitting here in Brentwood in Essex, and these guys, he asked Debbie Harry to marry him, and she said yes. He spent the weekend with Madonna before she was famous. It was just him and Madonna. These are proper professionals, not me just flipping blagging it. And he couldn't have been more lovely. And he paid me really nice compliments. And I was just blown away. It was lovely. But I do think James Wow is a brilliant presenter. And if he set up a training school, I'd go and train with him. It's like that guy. Who's that guy that's so controversial? The guy that says he doesn't like vegan sausage rolls. Oh, yes. Piers Morgan. Yeah, he's doing exactly the same thing, isn't he?
Yeah, I love him. I think he's fantastic. I would love to be like that. But I'd be obviously like, more controversial for veganism.
See, that's what we need. We need vegan life stories instead of peers life stories. We need vegan. I think I've just invented this new show. I think we need to start this up, Karin. If you're not too busy, obviously. I think you might be.
Anything. I'll come and do it. We'll do it together. Wonderful.
Yeah, you're on. So let's go to this picture because you've got to talk us through this. Bryan Adams, very famous vegan photographer, and now, of course, as well as a singer, songwriter. When was that? Was that recently?
Yeah, I mean, recently. It's before COVID. I can't remember. It was a few years ago. But I got invited to a press event, and I thought, flipping heck, Bryan Adams is going. I better get myself off to London because, I do get invited to a lot of things, and you can't do everything. And it was a tough time because my dad was in hospital. So I left my dad in flipping hospital. He was with my other sisters and everything, but that's, to go to this event. And, no one went up and spoke to him. And I thought, there's no way I'm missing this opportunity. And just went up, started speaking to him.
Amazing.
Oh, honestly, it's bonkers because there was probably less than 15 people in the room. And I wanted to interview him, but we couldn't get a good location in this little venue. Sound wasn't great. Lighting wasn't good. And he wanted it to look good. And he just said, look, we'll do it again. And, I felt deflated, but relieved as well. And I just said, let me get a picture with you. And we took 2 selfies. I haven't even done my makeup that well.
It's a great picture.
But yeah, he said, I've really got to go now. And I do say this story on my radio show. He said, look, Karin, lovely meeting you. Be in contact with blah, 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 and we'll sort something out. Got to go now. And I said, lovely meeting you. Can't remember if I don't think we gave a hug. I think it wasn't anything like that. And he opened the door and then he got on his cycle bike. He put his little helmet on and he pedalled off down the road. And I was like, I can't believe this is Bryan Adams. I thought he was going to get out into a Prius driven by a chauffeur or, a top of the range Mercedes and be chauffeur driven off. No, he just got on a bike and he pedalled off down the road.
It's brilliant. That's real life, isn't it? That kind of showbiz bubbles burst just momentarily, but in a way, it made it more special, I suppose. It was a unique experience. Fingers crossed for that next meeting with him, and you could do an interview, get him in on your show. But the other pictures were Wet Nose Day, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, look at you looking gorgeous.
Teddy, bless him. He was just thinking, what the hell is going on here? Why are you wearing that ridiculous nose? But that was, I'm trying to think when that was it last summer?
Well, I mean, Wet Nose is an annual event, and it was Wendy Turner Webster that introduced me to my now very good friend Andrea. And in its big heyday, when they had a very good sponsor, Wet Nose Animal Aid, they hired out beautiful hotels in London. We had every celebrity there. We had 8 pages in Hello magazine. And what they do is they donate money to small animal sanctuaries that don't get any funding. I mean, these people, they're on their knees. They haven't got time to fundraise. They've got a vet bill to pay for their feed, pay for the hay, pay for a hedgehog incubator. And it's just overwhelming. So Wet Nose, they fundraise and then they give the money to these wonderful people that dedicate their lives 24/7 to animals. And I was filming there when we did the event, so that's how I met Ingrid Tarrant, Lorraine Chase, Sam Fox, Vicky Michelle. It's where I first met Peter Egan, and just loads of really brilliant people, because they really do. They are all animal mad, and it does boil down to money. And they had to scale things on a different way, because the main thing is to give the money to the animals. But it was lovely seeing these people that run animal rescue centres in a beautiful hotel with a beautiful vegan meal, mixing with celebrities, and it just gave them that bit of boost, that bit of confidence, that bit of space away from the animals, even just for the afternoon, just, just to realise how much they were loved and how much we all were thankful for them.
Oh, that's so amazing. Because I think the celebrities have so much power, don't they? I mean, you look at Billie Eilish, the amount of followers that she has, millions of people that are following her career, and she talks about veganism or she shares a story, and it's just that simple message that, you would think was just flick away, but it's not, because people do absorb it and they do learn from that.
And when they're using it for good, then, wonderful. As long as they keep to it, because, you've got people sort of thinking, I'm vegan, and then they're not. And you just think, oh, for God's sake, you could never have been a vegan in the first place.
Yeah, I suppose that reminds me of the Miley Cyrus. I can't even say it. What's in this juice? I haven't put gin in here, I promise. Miley Cyrus, that irritated me so much, because that sent out the message that you can't get, the nutrition from vegan food when you can, and it's just ludicrous.
I mean, she even had a tattoo, didn't she?
Yeah.
I don't know what she's going to do. Put a fish on top of the tattoo or something.
I don't get it, Karin. I just don't understand why these people, and a lot of these YouTubers that are, declaring that they're not vegans anymore. And I suppose it gets the hits, but that's all they want. I just find it really vacuous. It's so sad.
It's really sad. And, I had a conversation with Arthur Ling, and he was friends with Donald Watson. And Arthur Ling is the founder of Plamil, like the original vegan company. Donald Watson set up the Vegan Society with a few others. And he said to me, Karin, vegans nowadays don't know they're born. You can go into a coffee shop, you can have a soya latte. He said, when we were trying to sell our soya milk that nobody had ever even heard of, we'd go to a health food shop and they'd say, well, why do we want soya milk? What's wrong with cow's milk? He said, vegans nowadays don't know they're born. And this was more than 20 years ago when I had this conversation with him. And, I just think things have, there's always been something for vegans. There really has, even 20 years ago. And, I don't know what else I was going to say then, but there you go.
Yeah, it's like, the more you think about it, the more it winds me up. And I don't want to be, like I said earlier, I don't want to be that person that's constantly,
I know,
kind of feeling negative, because I'm sure you're the same, because you always seem so positive. But I think people, do get frustrated by it. And I think it's understandable.
I don't think you can make the connection. You can't make the connection and then go back on it, because then you haven't made the connection. And I mean, who I just mentioned, they didn't have vegan burgers. They had potatoes, rice and vegetables, and made their own things up, and they did it. They were healthy. And so, what's the problem with now? And you've got to be, Phil, another thing I say when I'm interviewed on radio is, we're so lucky that we have a choice. There's people on this planet that don't have food.
Exactly.
They don't have a bloody choice. We are so lucky. And that kills me. That kills me, to think that we could feed everybody on this planet if we all ate vegan. That just breaks my heart.
You're so right, Karin. And I just wish people would realise that. I think people are now, more so, because obviously, because the emphasis with saving the planet is there, and it's all part of that. And all these news, websites and channels that are publishing these articles are showing these shows that are, and it's all, with these documentaries like Seaspiracy and Cowspiracy and all the other documentaries, that I think people are, it's the message is finally getting through, if it wasn't before. But yeah, I mean, news this week about Phil Spencer. That's another thing. It's like people just think he's this wholesome TV presenter, and then you see footage from years back of him killing that deer, but holding the deer's head up in a really awful way and just exploiting.
Seriously, what an absolute arsehole. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say naughty words. I don't really. But, I mean, what an utter wanker.
I don't get it.
Words. I will not watch his programmes. It's really incensed a lot of people. Respect for life, respect for the planet, respect for people, respect for animals. We share this planet with them. What right has anybody got to take away that life just for sheer pleasure?
Greed, yeah.
Yeah, he had like a really creepy face, didn't he? Like
totally.
Even a little bit of a perverted kind of look on his face.
And you know what? Also, that as well, but the fact that he's blocking everyone who is kind of calling him out on this, as they should be. He's blocking these people, and it's such a cowardly thing to do. I mean, that says everything, really, that you need to know, doesn't it? It just says it all. That he's blocking.
I do wonder. Yeah, I just wonder what is different from his mind and other people that think they have the right to take away a life. What is different to their brain to our brain? There's got to be something. There's got to be some kind of weird chemical imbalance, and it's not in a vegan's brain.
I don't think I'll ever get it. That's the thing, because I think if you sat down with somebody and had a sensible discussion about it just to find out what their thoughts were, I think they'd probably get all defensive and lash out. I mean, even if I did understand why people did it, I would still find it abhorrent and revolting.
It's repulsive. It's awful. I mean, we mentioned my dad. I mean, my dad's not been well, but, he's in his middle 70s now, and he just cannot believe that there's people that just don't have respect for animals, respect for the planet. And, he doesn't know about that in particular, but he's seen some other things, when you get these trophy hunters, and he just breaks his heart. He just can't believe what is going on. But, I mean, my poor old dad, if he's not well and he's in hospital, he's speaking to all the nurses and the doctors about being vegan.
Oh, brilliant.
I know. Oh, bless him. Bless my lovely dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's in my genes from my dad, because I am very much like my dad and my sisters. So maybe poor old Phil, whatever his silly face name is, maybe he's just not got good genes.
Yeah. I think you might be right. I don't know how long his career's going to last anyway. I think his TV career could be down the pan now.
He should follow the MP. That's it. Career's over.
So what's next for you then? Because lockdown, like you mentioned earlier, I mean, it's caused so many problems for so many reasons. But of course, the festivals, they're starting to open up again, but be more, the rules have changed, obviously, for social distancing.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Tim's call at the end of the day, and I know he's really focusing on Plant-Powered Planet magazine and Fork of Vegan, so that's really sort of his main focus at the moment. A lot of the festivals that I can see, some of them are not really festivals, which is fine. They're markets and they're outside, so that's fine. But as far as I know, London Olympia still isn't open, and you've got to think, when you've got 300 stalls, you've got speakers, you're running all the sessions, the panelists, people coming from all over the world, that doesn't happen overnight. That's the festival ends and we're straight on the next one, and that's been happening for 20 years for Tim. So I don't know what is going to happen next. I just don't know, but it's obviously Tim's decision. And when you're hiring venues like London Olympia, we're not talking little budgets. We're talking absolutely flipping megabucks, and that's a big weight on your shoulders. And yeah, you know, and I mean, VegFest has inspired so many festivals, and people have come up to Tim and you've inspired me. I'm going to run my own festival. But when VegFest started, apart from my festivals, believe it or not, in Essex, and there was a few in London, there were no other vegan festivals. So over the years, the food is more abundant, you've got more choice, more festivals because they've all been inspired by VegFest. And, you know, it's wonderful, but it's, you know, it's bittersweet, to be honest, you know, and that's just from me as the promoter, the PR person, and the presenter of VegFest. I mean, you know, for Tim, this is his world, his baby for 20 years. So I would love to see it continue, but it is all obviously up to Tim and up to the bloody rules and everything.
Yeah, it's a very difficult time. I hope, you know, obviously it carries on as it has been.
Yeah.
I know things obviously have changed now, but I mean, it's such a massive event, and it's really important, I think, because I mean, I've been to these events and I get so much out of it, not just the food, but obviously kind of discovering new products that I didn't know about, discovering new brands that I'd never heard of, and also supporting local independent businesses as well, and smaller businesses that are vegan. So I think it's really important. And meeting new people, it's great.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, look, vegan Kit Kats, everyone's going mad. There's a vegan Kit Kat. There's been vegan Kit Kats for flipping years.
Yeah.
You've just got to go to that smaller person that really cares. It's their life, it's their business. Do a bit of Googling, find some vegan groups. Vegan Kit Kats are not a new thing. And, you know, in front, you know, this interview that I found from 20 years ago, I was saying on there 20 years ago, there is everything vegan. You know, 20 years ago, there was vegan cheese, there was vegan this, vegan that. The big players may not have been making it, but those small people that really cared, they were forward thinking. You know, we had vegan sandwich spread, vegan viennetta, you know, that ice cream with all chocolate bits in it. You know, there was all different flavors of ice cream. There was vegan chocolate. You know, you just didn't necessarily buy it in the supermarket, but you were supporting that independent person that really cared. And now, you know, it's convenient. And yes, you know, it's nice to get Heinz bloody, you know, vegan mayonnaise or whatever, but when you're buying that, you're not buying from one of the people that started the bandwagon. They're not jumping on it. So
that's why it really annoys me when people say, oh, I hate vegan cheese. I'm like, have you heard of cashew cheese? Have you heard of almond cheese? All these soft spreads, not just, you know, that coconut oil based cheese that you see in Tesco or Sainsbury's. Go to the people that are doing this, because, I mean, yes, it might be a little bit more expensive. I guess that's another problem for a lot of people, but yeah.
But sometimes you do get what you pay for. I mean, if you are bulk buying and you look at the ingredients, and they might not be that good, but if you are paying for organic soaked almonds, you know, that those ingredients are going to cost a lot more. And, you know, instead of having it every day, you have it as your treat, you know.
Definitely.
You know, I think, you know, non-vegans, they do sometimes. They would spend a lot of money on certain cheeses and certain products. I know that's a bit of a generalisation, but I think sometimes vegans get stuck into the time that they went vegan, so things seem expensive, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But they're actually not when you compare them to non-vegan items. Hope I'm making sense.
Totally makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I've got to ask you before we go, because I know it's 9 o'clock. The hour's gone so quickly.
It's not 9 o'clock. I haven't showed you my shoes yet.
Oh, you've got to show me your shoes. I'll ask you the question while you're getting your shoes out, which is, because I always love talking about food. Your favourite meal? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, yes, I've got some Converse type shoes made by them. Great.
Yeah, look, I saw them and I said, oh my God, they've been made for me.
Amazing.
Thought I could share my shoes with you.
And the T-shirt. Don't ask why I'm a vegan. Ask yourself why you're not.
It's
Yes.
got to be done. I've got a
Yes.
vegan necklace, but I haven't put it on because I just thought, oh, come on. I've got to draw a line
And
somewhere.
this as well, the hoodie. You introduced me to these guys, vegan
Oh.
happy, and it's a Pride edition. I'm
Yeah.
pointing the wrong side. So you
Yeah.
can check them out as well online, Vegan Happy Clothing.
Oh, and she's just become a very, very good friend of mine, Laurie Delahunty. Passionate lady, brilliant story. I'm thrilled that we're friends and working together. And thank you for looking so utterly gorgeous.
Oh, I love us. It's so snug. I know it's like a little bit warmer now, but this weather is typically British, isn't it? We never know whether it's sunny or raining, so I put it on, and I don't feel like I'm overheating or anything, despite my shiny face, which is very moisturised.
But so you said favourite meal, and I forgot. I didn't answer, but I think it depends. I mean, I love my big green smoothies. I've made very nice fajitas for dinner.
What do you use, tofu, or do you use like mushrooms? Or
tonight I had some oomph, those oomph things.
Love them.
And then I roasted some onions and peppers and courgettes. My neighbour gave me a courgette, bless him, and I thought, chop that up, put that in there. And then after I roasted it, I put in some like tomato passata, whatever it's called, roasted it a bit more. And then we just put them in the wraps and with some oomph. And sometimes we don't have veggie meat stuff. Sometimes we do. And, it's easy. It's really quite yummy. But I get invited even now to lots of restaurant reviews, and I had some really nice food sent to me by a Michelin-starred restaurant in lockdown. I can't remember what it's called, but it's on VeggieVision, a review of that. But yeah, again, I just like supporting the smaller vegan places, and there's no cross-contamination. I won't have food that is cooked with animal products. But yeah, I think it depends. I mean, I love a big roast dinner. I might just, Mum, I tell you what, my favourite meal is a peanut butter sandwich and tomato soup.
Now you're talking. I've never had it with tomato soup, but yeah, peanut butter, I'm addicted. Seriously, it goes in everything. Breakfast, in my oats, in my porridge. I have it on toast.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, it's so versatile. Look at me, like I'm selling peanut butter now as well. Sponsored by.
So when I come round, what are you going to make me feel?
Well, I was just going to say, you were talking about what you have, what your favourite food is. I think I'm coming to yours, not the other way around. Okay, so what would I cook you? I would... Oh my goodness, I love a Buddha bowl. I know that sounds so cliche because every vegan loves a Buddha bowl, but you can't go wrong with a Buddha bowl. It's brilliant. Yeah, so healthy as well. So yeah,
and
tempeh.
They look good. It's Insta-friendly.
Yes, it is so colourful. I mean, vegetables and fruit, if you're using fruit as well, they look good. Yeah. Those meals look good on camera, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, Karin, before you go, let me just get your VeggieVision in there. So can people check you out there? And because you're all over social media as well. VeggieVision on Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah, at VeggieVision. I mean, look, there's people out there much bigger and better. I mean, I've been around for a long flipping time with VeggieVision. It's always been my dream to have a vegan TV program, and life threw challenges in the way, and my other work is very, very busy. So it's good. It's a website. It's lovely. I can tell you about great things on there. I'm just waiting for that vegan guardian angel to come along and say, here's some money, make a proper program.
You and me both.
That's what I would do.
Not for programs necessarily, but just generally. Just money. Throw me money. Karin, it's so brilliant to see you. Keep on doing the amazing work that you do. You inspire so many in such a positive way. I know I've said that before, but it's true. You do, and you do a brilliant job. And I don't know where you get your time. I don't know where you get the energy, because you're just non-stop. Oh, it's the vegan food, isn't it? That's where you get the energy.
It is food, but I tell you what, you don't see me first thing in the morning, love. It's a different story.
Go on, do an Insta Live tomorrow just so you can show us. So good to see you, Karin.
I love you to pieces. Thank you so much. I'm a big fan.
Oh, bless you.
Stay
safe,
everybody, as well.
And I hope your dad gets well as well. Love to your dad too.
Yeah. Thank
Keep
you.
being a legend. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, Karin.